Memorial Parkway, that's when the committee went. They said, look, you've been buying all this property. Let us take the property and develop it into the park. So that's what they did wind up doing. Now, this was not the this was the first building that was on this site, right? This was simply a lot before they built that in 1909. But prior to 1909, when that went up, that wasn't the only building on that site. This was actually there. Huge mill. It was called the Yantico Mill. It was a woolen mill, a textile mill, yes. And again, you see one of the spellings. Yantico is how this guy, whose name was John Stitt, who owned it. And it was a big factory from, let's say, 1840s until about the late 1880s. Late 1880s, by the way, is when Grover Cleveland decides to begin to allow foreign wool to come in. He lowers tariffs on foreign wool. Then he gets rid of the tariffs. So a lot of our textile factories sort of, go out of business pretty quickly, and that's what happened in town. Nutley was lucky that we had the railroad because we became a commuter town for New York after that. But these mills closed up. They knocked this mill down and they built Vincent Methodist Church on its site. Vincent Methodist used to be down on Passaic Avenue, right, where its cemetery is now, where Park Avenue comes up to Passaic Avenue. Yeah. There's the old Dutch Methodist cemetery, so they used to be there. Remember I mentioned how Passaic Avenue was the main street in town? Now they wanted to get closer to the action, so they actually moved up into a closer part of town here. But take a look at, these are the rival mills. By the way, this street here, which is now Vincent Place, because this is Vincent Methodist, used to be way back Elm Street, but then for a number of decades it was Mill Street, because on this side of the street, the drawing I just showed you, this is the actual building. And look at how massive this building is on the site of Vincent Methodist Church. Mill Street was between the rival mills. So on that side was the Duncan Essex Mills. Remember I mentioned the Duncans had a mill way down by the mud hole till the boiler exploded. Then they sort of moved upstream and developed their largest mills here. This is a picture of some of the buildings that would have been along Chestnut or in the Oval. And in fact, this is the remaining mill building in town. Our town hall started its life as the Duncan Essex Mill. Now take a look at, so this is Thomas Duncan, by the way, who's in the doorway with the bowler hat on. You can see one of his workers has got a big sort of monkey wrench on his shoulder, but these are some of the workers. This is that building here. This is Town Hall when it was a mill building. You see that it's only 2 stories tall. If you look at the building now and look at the 3rd floor of Town Hall, you'll see the bricks are different, right? The top floor. Exactly. So those were not, that 3rd floor was not put on until 1950, 1951, but it even had a different hat on in between. So this is an 1840s building. I have some blankets, by the way, I'm going to show you that were actually woven at this mill that I've got at the museum. So 1909, there's a fire and the roof burns. So that's that older, the same picture that I showed you, but here you see this mansard roof. When the fire burned, they wound up putting a new roof on it. So this was the roof from 1909, and the town purchased this, by the way, in about 1890. Purchased the old, relatively abandoned mill to make it our center of town, our center of education. So kudos to the town fathers for knowing that they should keep people off the Third River, and for also securing this piece of property, which is the center of everything we do here in Nutley. So this was the roof that this building had from 1909 fire, when the town still owned it, until even though this did function as town hall back then, it wasn't until 1948 when Town Hall took actual possession of that building. It had been owned by the Board of Education. So you might be renting a house and you don't do much to it, but then you get a chance to buy it. That's when you wind up doing your renovations. So it was in the early 50s that this old mansard roof came down, and the 3rd floor of brick in a very nice way to still look like the original mill building went. But you see here, some of you, not that one, but this one shows even fire engines and a motorcycle cop coming out of the building. This building did a lot for us. It was our jail, it was our police headquarters, it was our fire department for a number of years. In fact, from 1890 to 1892, before they started building our school, the 2nd floor of this was the high school. It was Yantico Park School, it was called at the time. Okay, so I just wanted to point those out. And then we're going to